Warren Buffett is obviously incredibly successful. He has built his wealth long-term to over $89 billion in 2018, making him one of the richest men in the world. Warren Buffett, better known as the Oracle of Omaha, Sage of Omaha, or Wizard of Omaha, is obviously the most successful investor of all times. He is not only known for his investment philosophy, but also for his great quotes on investing. Time magazine named him one of the most influential people in the world. Here are the top 7 Warren Buffett rules for success. Number 1. Warren Buffett's only 2 rules for investing. Rule number 1. Never lose money. Rule number 2. Never forget rule number 1. Warren Buffett believes the most important quality for an investor is temperament, not intellect. A successful investor doesn't focus on being with or against the crowd. The stock market will experience swings, but in good times and bad, Buffett stays focused on his goals, and so should we. This esteemed investor rarely changes his long-term investing strategy no matter what the market does. Number 2. Find your passion. Almost every successful person agrees that finding and following your passion is something important if you want to produce an amazing result in life. Warren Buffett, when asked about the secret of his staying power, he replied that people should find their passion. He recalled that he was very fortunate to find it when he was 7 or 8 years old. At a young age, he read the book 1000 Ways to Make $1,000, which he borrowed in a public library. He stated that he was greatly inspired and began his entrepreneurial activities. He advised students that they may not find it on their first job, but they should take the job that they would take if they were already independently wealthy. Number 3. Reinvest your profits. Reinvesting is the best way to build wealth. If you are a business owner, reinvesting is crucial to your company's continued growth and success. It's worth keeping in mind that investing isn't just about a sudden influx of cash. Your time and experience are also extremely valuable. Warren Buffett learned this early on. In high school, he and a pal bought a pinball machine to put in a barber shop. With the money they earned, they bought more machines until they had 8 in different shops. When the friends sold the venture, Buffett used the proceeds to buy stocks and to start another small business. Number 4. Read more, read something every day. Continuous learning and learning something new every day is one of the most important things for not only remaining productive, but for growing ourselves as human beings as well. Warren Buffett, the man commonly referred to as the greatest investor of the 20th century, was standing in front of 165 wide-eyed students from Columbia University. One of the students raised his hand and asked Buffett for his thoughts on the best way to prepare for an investing career. After thinking for a moment, Buffett pulled out a stack of papers and trade reports he had brought with him and said, "Read 500 pages like this every day. That's how knowledge works. It builds up like compound interest. All of you can do it, but I guarantee not many of you will do it." Buffett estimates that 80% of his working hours are spent reading or thinking. It's enough to make you ask, am I reading enough books? When we read, we are practicing the idea of having a growth mindset. We are learning new ideas. We are connecting old ideas with new ideas and updating our ability and interpretation of what goes on in the world. This translates into our ability to do things better, to form more solid connections between concepts and knowledge. Number 5. High returns with low risk is the key. Buffett says, never invest in a business you cannot understand. Risk comes from not knowing what you are doing. The advice here is obvious but often forgotten, particularly after investors have had some success. The temptation to believe that success in one area you know well allows you to easily analyze another is much greater once you have had some good returns, but should be resisted with vigor. Buffett himself has kept out of the technology sector for the most part, given his lack of knowledge of the sector. Number 6. Don't care what others think. The 6th rule from Buffett on success is that he does not really care what others think. And this is extremely important because if he wants to take into consideration what other people have to say, his decision will be influenced and he will never be able to hold on to his investing principles. Warren Buffett stated that it never bothers him when people disagree with him. He admits that there are many things he does not understand and he tries to stay away from them. However, there are things that he understands well and he stays in this area he calls his circle of confidence. When people tells him that he is wrong on something, he just goes back to study the facts. He believes having emotional stability is important. If Buffett was to listen to what others said, he will become like most people, living an average life rather than living as a billionaire, and become so successful in investing. Number 7. Invest for the long term. Buffett says only buy something that you'd be perfectly happy to hold if the market shut down for 10 years. Investing is not trading and has a vastly different goal. As trading, when done well, is about taking measured risk for discrete periods of time at sufficient volume as to generate profits, and typically involves wild swings in profitability. Warren Buffett is a long-term investor. 3 of his longest holdings are shown below. American Express, first purchase in 1964, Coca-Cola, first purchase in 1988, or Wells Fargo, first purchased in 1989. So friends, if you like this audio, please subscribe, we can channel and give your comment.